Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and hope each of you are doing great. For anybody that's going to listen to us or watch us this afternoon, I am delighted to be here with Dammy, Kasey, and Torey. Some accomplished and impressive, and I say interesting folks that we have had the opportunity to converse and meet and engage in discussion over the past couple weeks. And just given the timing, Black History Month, and the accomplishments of these folks, I just thought it's good. We just thought it's nice to just have a conversation together on a couple of things that are pertinent. So thank you all so much for being here this afternoon. I guess we could start the conversation with, just sharing with us, what degree you did here at the Walton College and where you are now and what you're doing. And we could go in any particular order.
I can kick us off.
Yeah,
If that
sure.
works. Yeah. Yeah. So my name is Kasey Grovey. I completed the Master's of Science in Supply Chain Management program recently
Awesome.
in 2022. I currently work at JB Hunt Transport. I have been there for the last 9 years. So I actually worked for 6 years before joining the program.
Excellent.
But yeah, so I have worked within our ICS, Integrated Capacity Solutions Department within JB Hunt, and I currently am a senior manager over one of our national account uh, teams in our brokerage division.
That is awesome. Good stuff, Kasey.
Okay, everyone. Hello, my name is Dami. I also got my bachelor's degree in supply chain management with a minor in business analytics just last May. I work as a transportation manager at JB Hunt. Also, I've been there
Awesome.
for a year and 9 months. My fleet specifically, we have a dedicated account with Georgia Pacific. It's a paper company, and I manage the drivers in the Southwest region. So Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, that region. So that's what I do currently.
Interesting and impactful. Interesting and impactful. Tori.
Yeah, I will wrap us up in that regard. I'm Torey Morris. I currently work for General Mills. I graduated from the U of A in 2021 with
Nice.
I actually majored in international business, but my concentration was in supply chain management. And then I
Nice.
double minored in business analytics and Spanish. So like I previously mentioned, I currently work at General Mills. I've been there for close to 2 years now, or a little over 2 years at this point. I currently support our Kroger account as a trade planning associate, and I actually work in sales at the
Yeah,
moment.
that is awesome. That is awesome. So it's a real pleasure to have you here and to have discussion. And by virtue of, for information's sake, I am Mark and I'm on the faculty at the department here for those that will be watching and joining us. All right. So we've had some really interesting conversations around mentors, right? And mentors have played a really important role in my development in various ways. And I would like for each of you to share the role that you believe mentorship has played in getting you to where you are at this particular point in time, and as well as what is your advice on people getting mentored? Is it important? To any one of you could go ahead.
You want me to lead off again on this one?
Of course, no problem at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I agree 100%. I think mentors are absolutely important for development, not only professionally, but personally as well.
Yeah,
I know that has been extremely instrumental in my development, both inside and outside of work, and has allowed me to make a greater impact on my team and the organization because of mentorship. Um, but, I mean, the reason I think it's important is if you can develop a meaningful relationship with a mentor, it allows you to gain new perspectives Like I mentioned, it'll allow you to further professional and personal development. You can improve industry knowledge or learn about new industries. And then lastly, it helps you gain confidence and hopefully unlock some of that passion and potential you have, and allows you to go out into the world and conquer whatever you want to conquer. So I think they're absolutely instrumental in everyone's development.
That's awesome. How about you, Dami? What's your view on mentors?
I totally agree. I think people should have mentors. I don't see mentors as people you want to be like. I see them as people who inspire you, who believe in you, who show that they care and truly want you to succeed. And for me, growing up, my dad was that person for me. I wasn't doing great in school. I wasn't really badly, actually. And he just kept supporting me and telling me that I had the potential to be better. And that continuous, encouragement really helped me and shaped me to who I've been able to become today, really. So definitely people should have mentors.
Excellent. Tori, what's your perspective?
Yeah, I think mentors are imperative. As you go through your career and over your development, everybody always mentions that life is the best teacher that you can have. And that's true to an extent, because if you limit yourself to the experiences and the knowledge that you gain from your personal day to day, there's so much additional knowledge that is out there that you could be gaining from other people, aka your mentors, coaches, sponsors, whoever the case may be. So having those people in your corner is something that's invaluable throughout your career, just for people to lean on for different things, whether, like Kasey mentioned, whether it be professional or personal. Those people are so instrumental in setting you up for success, and especially for advocating for you in rooms that you're not in. And mentors, like I said, that having those kinds of people in your corner is something that's invaluable.
Yeah, that is true. It's so important. Like for me, I found that mentors play the role. You know what happened to me in instances. There's sometimes times professionally, like you have a question you want to ask, but you want to ask it to someone where you believe there's low professional collateral damage. So sometimes you're unclear about something, but you're not sure exactly, you know, who you should ask and if you ask it. And I think mentors have played a really good role for me with that. And the other thing I've seen mentors play a good role for me with is in those instances where it's almost like a lot of time you could have spent learning something that would have been a lesson on what not to do. Having a mentor allows you to avoid the time it would have taken to get to that experience to learn it. And it's been really beneficial for me. So I think we all share the view of how important mentors are. I was interested in finding out, from a professional perspective, when it comes to professional advice, is there any type of professional advice you've gotten over the years that has stuck with you, that has really been instrumental in shaping your view or your approach to professionalism? And if so, is that something you would share with folks now, or is there any other professional advice that you've garnered that you would like to share with folks that would be listening to us?
Yeah, I'll start us off again on that one. Yeah, there are two pieces of professional advice I can think of in my career. My entirety of my career has been at JB Hunt, and there's two leaders that have been instrumental and gave some advice that has stuck with me along the way. First off is from our now current president, Shelley Simpson. I had a meeting with her, and she simply just told me I should reach for the stars. While that sounds simple, that was huge hearing it from somebody of such a
Who it
high
came
position in
from?
our. Yeah,
Yeah, and she was that
absolutely.
vested in
The
you. Yeah.
fact that it came from Shelley, it gave me the confidence to relentlessly attack my goals that I wanted to accomplish and not stop until I get there. So that's something that's always stuck with me. And then another one is from another leader within our organization, Brandon Taylor. I don't know if you all know who he is. He's a senior VP in our organization. He's an African American as well. I know we're talking about Black History Month, so that's also
Yeah.
really important to me.
Yeah.
Him being African American as well, but he says a lot compete, but don't compare. And that has really stuck with me because I come from a very strong sports background. So I'm competition all day long. If I have an opportunity to compete, I'm ready to go. I get hyped up. I'm excited. I can get going. But it's very important to remember competition is great, but don't get stuck comparing yourself to what others are doing, right? If you see somebody get a promotion that you thought you deserved, if you, whatever it may be, it's important to understand it's fine to compete, but don't get lost in the comparison because everyone has a time where they will make an impact.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Appreciate it. Torey, what about you?
For sure. I think the biggest piece of advice that I've gotten actually kind of ties into what Kasey was saying. It's the exact same thing, but kind of worded a little bit differently. You have to be willing to run your own race because everybody's journey is going to look a lot different.
Okay.
So with that, the big thing is to never get caught up looking left and right and turning over your shoulder and being caught up in what your peers have going on, because everybody's careers are going to look different because of different things. Some people are going to start off a lot quicker. They're going to have more promotions more frequently because of whatever those factors may be, where yours may be a little bit slower because you're developing more. And then things may catch up with you later. Like that person, their career may slow down a little bit because of external life factors, whether it be they get married, have kids, so on and so forth. So just know what you want your career to look like and be confident in what you're doing is the right thing to do, and not beating yourself up and thinking you're falling behind your peers because they have other things going on. So just got to put your head down and run your own race.
That's awesome. That is awesome. That's insightful too. Dami, what about you?
Mine will be to know your worth and don't be afraid to try, because fear keeps a lot of people from applying to the position they want or from doing what they really desire. And it's very important to just know what you have to offer. So when the opportunity does come, you can confidently share that. It's also good to understand that nobody's expecting you to understand and know the full functions of the job you're going for or what you're, wanting to do. So if you're willing to learn and you can, try and you can get what you want if you're willing to learn and put in the work for that. So just try and go for what you need.
That is good. That is unique. My friends, if I think about like advice I've been given, there's a lot of advice you get over time. I think there are two, if I were to choose two that I think I would say have really starkly remained with me. It's once I once started this role at a firm, and my first day on the job, I sat at the desk, and one of the managing directors at that firm, I think probably at three-quarter way through the day, came to the desk and he said, son, let me tell you something. He said, you've started this job, you put your head down and get the work done. And I guarantee you, when you lift your head up, you'll be in a different place. And metaphorically, that really resounded with me, because what he was trying to say is you focus. Of course, there are different things you focus on in professional environments because there are multifaceted dimensions to it. But he was trying to say focus on the job at hand. And you focus on that. And when you raise your head up, you're going to be in a totally different place than the place you started, meaning you're going to advance. That was really impactful to me. Another one that stuck with me was I was on a job at another organization some years later, and one of the folks there that was there for a number of years said, over the years, they've learned something that they think is important for people to understand so that they don't compare. Because I think comparing has been a common theme here. And you know what the person said? Know the difference between a rising star and a shooting star. And that was really powerful to me, right? Because there are people that you may look at and compare yourself to, but what you're seeing is going to be short-lived, right? And it's really important to not model yourself based on assumptions that others are somehow representative of what it takes to do this for the long haul. So that has always resonated with me as well. That was interesting, and I'm really interested in this other one here too. For each of you, what would you all say the role that the supply chain management department at the Walton College has played in your development as a professional, as a person? Anybody could take that one.
I'll go. I got it. I'll
That's awesome. Yeah. For some reason you paused, Kasey. So you could whenever you think you could start. For some reason you paused. For some reason, I mean, anybody wants to go in the meantime while Kasey gets things straightened out?
I can take that.
Okay, of course.
Right. The department, it's hard to put it into words how impactful has been for me, just even beyond my experience as a student. Quite literally yesterday, I had a conversation with a couple faculty members that I still have a great relationship with, and we talked about my experience at my job, but it was so great to just kind of catch up with them personally. So that's been super, super beneficial. But again, knowing that I have those people in my corner to support me in all different kinds of facets has been monumental for me to know I have people that I can lean on that are out of the industry to give me a more transparent perspective on things when I need to pick their brain on certain situations.
That is excellent. That is excellent. What about you, Tammy? How has the department played a role in your development?
In many ways, to start with the career fairs that we had, so helpful. That was how I got connected with a recruiter from JB Hunt, actually, and I started working at a company. So we had different career fairs, so different opportunities, to try and to be better at the next one. There was help, like resume help from the career center. So my resume starting out when I started applying for internships wasn't the best. So I didn't just like improve on my resume at that time. I knew how to keep improving on it, moving forward. Um, job shadowing was immense. Also, I had a job shadow while I was in college for a role that wasn't the role I got, for a different role at JP Hunt. It just helped me to understand um what my learning in the classroom looked like in the real world, like how I could apply it. And that helped me to have a better idea of what I really wanted to do when I graduated. So it helped me immensely.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And Kasey, what about you? What role has the department, the supply chain management department at the Walton College played in your development from your perspective?
Yeah, sorry about that technical difficulty. You can hear me now?
That's perfectly fine. Yeah, we're hearing you well.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that.
No, you're okay.
Yeah, similar to what Dammy mentioned, I heard her mention applicable to her real world, and I think that's absolutely the same thing for me. The projects we were working on, case studies, the curriculum we were going over was 100% applicable for me in my day-to-day role immediately. So it was something that I would learn a new concept, or there would be something that we go over in class or one of our projects, and I feel I could take it directly to my current role and then immediately make an impact on my team and the organization. So that was probably the biggest benefit for me.
Excellent. Let me ask you all a question based on just the fact it's Black History Month, the fact that 4 of us are Black professionals involved in some way, shape, or form in supply chain or supply chain oriented roles. What are your perspectives on, if we were to give advice, or if you were to give advice on increased numbers of Black students or professionals in the supply chain management field, what sort of advice would you give probably to decision makers and stakeholders to drive increased participation in the awesome world of supply chain or the supply chain ecosystem? What would it be? And anybody could take it in any particular order. It's no issue.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and go on that one, Dr. Scott.
Yes.
So, yeah, two words stick out to mind for me: exposure and education.
Yeah.
I think, supply chain management is a surging field that is constantly evolving every single day. It seems like there's a new disruption going on every single day. So, the interest is there. Just how can we get in front of more people, especially how can we get in front of more Black people and get them involved in supply chain
Yeah.
management? So, a couple of ideas that come to mind are doing things like this. How can we have more panel discussions around supply chain management to
Yes.
let people know what's going on in the world? Um, Career fairs. Can we get more Black exposure at career fairs? For General
Yeah.
Mills, can we send Torey out there? For JB Hunt, can we send me and Dammy out there to talk to
Yes.
prospecting students? And then also, all these big companies have ERGs. How can we get in front of those ERGs and get more involved with them and see, how can we get increase exposure for African Americans and all diversity as well?
Yeah, that is awesome. That's some really, really good ideas. Dammy, what's your thought on that?
He read my mind, really. So I actually was on campus yesterday and I met an African American freshman, and she told us that a lot of people in her community, because she's from the southern part of Arkansas, don't even go to University of Arkansas because nobody really tells them they can. So it's just about that exposure, like we was talking about. We need people to actually go to where there are a lot of Black people, whether it's high schools or communities, and talk to them about supply chain management, what it is, and what their career could look like for them. Because even when I started college, I didn't understand fully what supply chain management was, and it was my roommate that actually, walked me through it. So
Yeah.
that exposure is really important.
Yeah. And yes, very good point and really good perspective there. You have me thinking. That's how I was posing if you know. Tori, what about you?
For sure. To me, I agree with what both of them said, and I think in my mind how I interpreted that was a lot of them getting them to campus, and mine is kind of leaning more towards getting them like into the industry thereafter. So I think a big part of what supply chain like the department can do to increase like African American exposure and involvement is letting them know how versatile it is. Because as Black people, 9 times out of 10, we're always very concerned about being pigeonholed because like, oh, you may only have X set of skills to do X set of things. Everybody that knows supply chain is not even close to that. It interacts with so many different parts of businesses. So like you have to interact with finance because of costs to ship things. You have to
Yes.
deal with things with about marketing because of packaging. You have to work with R&D to create the products. You have to work with sales to know how much to produce and so on and so forth. So there's so much interaction across the board. Even if you don't work in a supply chain title job, there's so many different things. I'm a perfect example. I work in sales now, but I'm able to have legitimate conversations with people when we have certain disruptions. I'm like, cool, tell me more. So I can actually be
Yes.
able to communicate that properly to my customer and give them more insight about what's going on.
Yes.
So I would definitely say that speaking to the versatility that supply chain offers is something that's super important.
Yeah, I think all these points are really good points. One of the things that I find really encouraging is what I believe and observe to be uh an intentionality about diversity and inclusion in all its aspects in organizations and corporations. And I think it's creating many of the corporations, organizations we work at, right, are intentional about it. And I think it is driving um, an increased consciousness about, you know, the need and perspective, diverse perspectives, and how um how effective it is and impactful it is when someone sees someone potentially that looks like them that could explain, this is what this field is, this is what it's about, and really be intentional about exposing folks to the supply chain. So I really agree. I actually think it's exposure. Like many folks, I came into supply chain. I didn't grow up saying, hey, I want to be in supply chain. Like many folks, you came into it, dare I say, serendipitously, right? And what happens is that when you become exposed to it, you see all the vast opportunity and the vast range of things you could do. And I just think us being intentional and exposing, you know, wide groups of people, and in this particular case, as we're speaking about Black people in Black History Month, uh, Black people to the opportunities in supply chain management and how immense they are. You know, I would say personally that as we wrap this up, you know, we've been talking in various capacities, but much more so over the past couple weeks. And I have to tell you all that every single time I spoke to one of you all or communicated with one of you all, I just smiled. Um, and the reason why is I'm just so personally impressed with each of you and what your accomplishment stands for in and of itself and by itself, irrespective of who you are, right? But more in the context now of who you are and what it means, right? It really, really, really is something to spotlight that I'm being intentional about, you know, the fact that it is such an impactful thing to have you all share and speak and disseminate your thoughts and perspectives about your experiences in supply chain and careers in supply chain or related careers, because it means a lot uh, to folks that look on. So I will say thank you, and I'll ask each of you if you have any parting words.
No, I mean, thank you for the opportunity. I think this is very impactful for us as well. So, yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Pleasure is all mine. The pleasure is all been mine.
Yeah, happy to be here. You know, it's great to ask questions to the people you're targeting, you know, that's Black students, and just see what you think about supply chain and how they're doing. So it's really great. I'm thankful.
I think again, the pleasure is mine, and it's the opportunity and benefit actually has been, I've really benefited from dialogue with you all so much. Torey,
Yeah, I definitely could say that as well. Like, I want to say thank you for the opportunity, and also thank you for being willing to come back, because you and I talked about this on a personal level when we first introduced to each other. Having you on campus, I think, is going to make a very big difference for a lot of students. Because speaking through my experience, I never had a professor that looked like you, even out of the department, like out of the whole Walton College and the university for that matter. So you being around, I think I'm sure you can probably feel that already, but just know that you're going to be making a really, really big difference for a lot of students moving forward. So
thank
I
you.
want to say thank you for that.
Thank you very, very, very much. I don't know if I think I probably shared it with Torey probably. I think one of the most impactful things that has happened to me on campus thus far was teaching in one of the sections, and two young ladies, two young African American ladies, came up to me after class, and they had a card and a coffee gift card, and they wrote a card, and they were saying thank you, and I was trying to be like, what are you thanking me for? You know, what are you thanking me for? And they went on to explain that the reason they're thanking me is because I'm the first Black professor they've had. And they just wanted me to know how much of an impact. And I'll be honest, that was really sobering for me, because I think before that time, I didn't really understand how, I really didn't understand that particular dynamic. And it was really sobering. I came home and told my family that thing had me in a pensive mood like for the rest of the week. Right? And it's the same thing with you, right? I mean, you're doing this and students seeing this, and they're like, hey, you know what? I could do that too. You know, so I want to say thank you all for the time. I think we could all say thankful to the organizations and institutions and firms we get to work with for being supporters and sponsors of this type of activity. And it's just such a great thing. You all have a wonderful evening, and we'll meet up and chat and get together and do some networking uh soon. I think we've all spoken about a nice mentorship circle. We're gonna get started and going, and really good things to come. So My pleasure. Really good to see you all this afternoon.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.
Bye.
Scott.
Thank you all. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.